Rashad Richey is up in arms again. This one is about a young white serial killer who shot and killed 3 young black men, and he was found guilty of murder. He was convicted. Rashad is irate because, in his view, this kid would have walked because of a racist judge. And to be honest, he might have a point there. Hard to say, because Rashad never bothered to do any real research into this event. He instead relied on the Atlanta Black Star, which has failed to get almost anything right in any story it has ever covered. I haven't done any research either. I'm walking into this video with zero background knowledge of what happened. And I did that on purpose because I want to approach Rashad's video like nearly every one of Rashad's followers. The difference is that I'll ask questions and offer alternative explanations. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With cold, blunt analysis cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's time for the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
And away we go.
Kill black men. Almost got away with it. This story is going to make your blood boil. I want you to put a picture full mask. We're going to get into the details of this. This individual in Indiana, 19 years of age, but this crime started years ago, was convicted of murder for shooting 3 black men in Indianapolis. Caden Smith is his name. Caden was ruled guilty by a jury on 3 counts of murder, 2 counts of felony murder, and multiple gun robbery and drug-related charges. Though Smith was 16 at the time of the killings, he was tried as an adult and is now awaiting sentencing. In October 2021, Smith persuaded 3 men, Joseph Thomas on the left, 18, Michael James on the right, 22, and Abdullah Mubarak, not pictured, 17, to meet him in a grassy field off of Interstate 465 by employing the ruse, the manipulation, that he was going to demonstrate a, quote, Glock switch, okay? The switch allows a semi-automatic weapon to fire like a machine gun. Instead, he opened fire on all 3 men over the course of 2 nights, each one suffering multiple gunshot wounds.
Now I'm confused. He invites all 3 to a grassy field as part of a ruse. Did he shoot any of them at that time? If not, what was the purpose of the meeting? I'm not sure.
Officers collected over 50 9mm fired cartridge casings at the scene, as well as unfired 9mm bullets, court documents revealed.
Wait, what is the scene? The grassy meeting place? If so, that would probably be due to him showing off the Glock switch.
Smith then robbed his victims and left their lifeless bodies on a grassy path in the heavily wooded area, said prosecutors.
Now, how many bodies are we talking about? I'm assuming 3?
An off-duty police officer first discovered the bodies of James and Mubarak. That was October 12th. After an intensive search with all-terrain vehicles, police found a 3rd victim, Joseph Thomas, reported ABC affiliate WRTV.
Okay, there were only 2 bodies on the grassy path. The 3rd body was evidently far from the others. How the 3rd dude ended up out in the woods is a mystery. I mean, the kid doesn't look strong enough to carry a body out there, so I suppose he lured him to the location? Don't know. If only the Atlanta Black Star would tell us.
Because the killings took place on 2 different nights, the triple murder fueled suspicions of a serial killer in the city, but the police quickly debunked that theory when the text messages led them to the perpetrator.
What is Rashad's basis for calling him a serial killer then? Well, at one time, they thought the killer might be a serial killer, and that's all Rashad needed. I'm not making this up. I don't think that Rashad understands the definition of a serial killer.
They arrested the 16-year-old Smith, executed a search warrant on the home he reportedly shared with his grandmother, where they found the murder weapon along with a bulletproof vest, bags of drugs, several cell phones, and internet searches, including Does freezing a gun remove DNA? And another one, how many deaths is considered a mass murder? Reveal court documents obtained by WRTV.
That would seem to be pretty damning evidence. How many deaths is considered a mass murder could point to a motive to become famous for the shootings or something. I don't know. But clearly, the coincidence of this is hard to ignore.
Despite the quick work of authorities, the case was plagued with challenges. Now, this is going to make your head spin. So in October 2022, a judge threw out key evidence, threw it completely out, including the alleged murder weapon, and ruled that detectives, in fact, violated Smith's Fourth Amendment rights during the search warrant.
Is it possible that the judge ruled correctly? Gee, what a good time to do some research into why the judge ruled the way he did. I mean, court documents would show both the prosecution's and defense's arguments. Why did the judge throw out the gun? Well, if the search was illegal, then they wouldn't be able to use the gun as evidence during the trial. So that makes sense. Well, it makes sense to everyone but Rashad and his minions, given that they know nothing about the law or courtroom procedures. Again, this is assuming that the judge was correct in his Fourth Amendment ruling.
Just before the trial was set to begin, Smith was released to his home, only with a GPS ankle bracelet with instructions not to leave the state. He was ordered, quote, to have no firearms, deadly weapons, or ammunition in his possession, reported NBC affiliate WTHR. Now, think about this. The judge makes the ruling. You violated his rights here, throwing out all the evidence that actually could lead to a conviction of an individual who has been charged basically with being a serial killer.
What Rashad is saying is that these charges are super serious. This kid is a serial killer, which is not true. He's not. So how dare you throw out anything that could lead to his conviction? This is the dude that goes around claiming he earned a Juris Doctorate from a university in Haiti. I'm not making this up.
Now, judges have the opportunity, obviously, to make rulings. It is within their wheelhouse. Some judges make rulings that are on the, let's just say, spectrum of conservative, some of them a little more liberal. The point is, judges get a wide range here. So just as easily as this judge threw out the evidence, you can find another judge who would have said, nope, we're going to keep the evidence. Or there's another opportunity, another bite at the apple, as they would say in court. But not this judge.
Rashad essentially saying that the judge's rulings are mere matters of opinion. No, there are rules of courtroom procedures that govern admissibility of evidence. It is not based on the judge's whim. Again, I don't know if the judge's rulings were sensible. If the kid's Fourth Amendment rights were violated, then the evidence has to be tossed, no matter how guilty you think the kid is. I agree that the bail conditions appear absurd. I would like to hear the appeals of the kid's lawyers, because it must have been a hell of a speech. Of course, I don't think Rashad cried too much when 3 black men in Detroit were given $500 bonds for attempted murder, with one of them trying to burn his victim alive. I did a video on that a couple of years ago. I'll see if I can find a link for you. People of color are given absurdly low bail conditions all the time.
With evidence tossed out and Smith no longer locked up, the case was stalling. But within less than 2 months, Smith had already violated the conditions set by the judge. He was back in jail November 23rd, his 18th birthday, after police found Snapchat videos, photos, of him brazenly doing what? Holding a handgun with the GPS monitor around his ankle. After police raided a house he was in and found guns and drugs, he was arrested once again. This time, he was held without bond on new charges of dealing marijuana, visiting a common nuisance, and invasion of privacy. He stayed in jail until his trial finally began August 19th.
Rashad, this kid is not the first suspect to have violated bail conditions. It happens all the time. Once he did, they took his bond away. So what?
You see, if he did not engage in such reckless, let's just call it privileged behavior, he would have been out of jail, free to kill more black men while waiting to see if they're able to even prosecute him after the judge decided to throw out key evidence.
Notice how he emphasized that the kid could have been free to kill more black men. The kid could have been free to kill white people, but Rashad doesn't care about them.
This is still an uphill battle. This is insane, isn't it? This is ridiculous. How is it that justice works so swiftly for individuals who are black or brown, but it seems to just say, you know, we really just want to give you another shot, another opportunity, the benefit of the doubt, if you happen to be white, especially a young white male who specifically is charged with killing black people. Remember the Burger King incident?
Rashad, you're either bone dead ignorant or you're playing to your idiotic followers. He's talking about Dylan Roof. There was no Burger King incident. The cops did not take Dylan to Burger King. The cops wanted to keep him in custody for questioning, but the law mandates that prisoners must be fed every so many hours. They didn't have a kitchen at the jail, so one of the officers went and picked up a burger and Coke from Burger King and brought it back to the jail. Big deal. It wasn't like they went to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse for the food, or even TGI Fridays. It was Burger King. That sounds more like prisoner abuse, if anything. But wait, it's going to get dumber.
Yeah, judges do have discretion, and it seems that when the perp looks like Mr. Smith, they get the benefit of it. And that's a shame. But I also think here, I don't know the particulars, but I do know law enforcement is often out of bounds and violates people's rights.
She doesn't know the particulars, but she'll just assume that law enforcement is in the wrong. That's what she's saying. And it's pretty much the standard logic used on Rashad's show. At the start of the show, Rashad claimed that the kid almost got away with it. There appears to be no basis for that claim. In the end, the kid was tried and convicted. The judge's rulings appear odd, but what truly happened? You won't find out watching Rashad's show. I'll poke around and see if I can find out more about this incident. My gut feeling is that Rashad is holding out on us. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.